mission.
And deployment is coming up in just around 40 seconds or so. You can see in the telemetry in the bottom right corner of the screen, we are now very high above the surface of the Earth, about 34,000 kilometers.
VIASAT 3, separation confirmed.
And there you saw and heard the confirmation of successful deployment of VIASAT 3 from our second stage. Next up on the docket, we have the deployment of Gravity's Gravity Space 1, which is scheduled around the T+ 4 hour and 40-minute mark. So we'll see you back here.
3 successful burns of our second stage and successful deployment of the VIASAT 3 payload. And we're now coming up on the deployment of the Gravity Space 1 payload. Gravity Space 1 is a 16U CubeSat and the first commercial CubeSat in geosynchronous orbit. It will be used for Internet of Things, a rendezvous and docking experiments, and orbital slot reservations. And that deployment is coming up here in just about 15 seconds or so. What you're seeing on your screen is a view from the second stage looking forward. So we should be able to see the payload deploy here shortly. Gravity Space 1 spacecraft drift away from Falcon 9's second stage. So next up will be the final milestone of today's mission, the deployment of Astronis' first micro-geo satellite, which is scheduled for the T+ 4 hour and 46-minute mark. We'll see you back here in about 6 minutes.
Astronis' Alaska customer, Pacific Dataport. Their first micro-geo satellite is going to cover Alaska, and it will be the first satellite ever dedicated to a single U.S. state. In addition to this payload, Astronis is launching 4 additional satellites later this year with SpaceX on a dedicated Falcon 9 mission, so stay tuned for that. Deployment should be coming up here in just about 30 seconds or so.
Astronis, separation confirmed.
And there you saw and heard confirmation of successful deployment of the micro-geo payload from our second stage. With confirmation of successful deployment of our last payload on board the second stage, that will wrap up our coverage for the VIASAT 3 America's mission. We'd like to thank VIASAT for entrusting us with today's mission. We'd also like to thank the range and the FAA for licensing today's launch. And of course,
subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Space Google VIASAT YouTube channel.